Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. I hope we have people there coming already. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please go ahead and share the message with your friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pastor Sunday Adelaja here, or DSA as you wish. You can call me, but I'm here with a very loving, beautiful Nigerian lady today. She didn't put a Nigerian gear today for some reasons, but you know, she wows people here whenever she wears the African dress and the Nigerian dress. But maybe because she knows that you Nigerians, you are not going to, you are not going to be wowed. So she came ordinary today. But as the case might be, this is Mrs. IRETI Ojekhoa, and a friend of mine and a colleague in the passion to transform Nigeria from the way we are right now to what it should be. I've seen a lot of Nigerians who are passionate about Nigeria, but IRETI is absolutely, convincingly passionate. Her passion is not ordinary, and she is, she's serious about her commitment. And she's not just serious about her commitment in words, but she's absolutely devoted to the mission and to the cause. I think our voice will be low. We'll go and get there. So I think so. I believe in the passion of IRETI, and so I would like you to go and invite all people from Nigeria, of people of Nigerian descent that might be in diaspora or in Nigeria that might be asking themselves what to do in regards to Nigerian transformation, even while we are here in the diaspora. For example, I cannot live for Nigeria right now, and people use that to taunt me. They come on sometimes on my platform or and say, okay, you are talking, come now. You are just, the only thing you can do is to talk while you are sitting over there. So, but I've explained many times, I'm not hiding up. I'm explaining to everybody else, I'm still in court. I'm still fighting my demons here. You know, God has not released me to go because it's not even in my power. If it had been in my power, I would have been able to, I would have even stepped out and I would have, you know, just on my own accord, you know, step up. But God knows better. He probably knows that, you know, he just knows when is the best time. And God is good in timing. We will never ever be exact, but God's timing will always be better. And the way he knows, he knowing me and my nature, he probably knows that with my temperament and my zeal and enthusiasm, there is a tendency that I could misstep by just following my passion and dedication to have gone before or earlier than God himself would commission me to go. So I think that's why God put a restriction around me that it's not really working out for me, even if I want to go. So the people who are coming to taunt me that why are you not going? But they don't even know that in the condition and the situation that I'm in, a lot of people will not even be doing anything. And the fact that I'm even doing what I'm doing right now to a large extent is a miracle.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, for many of us, yeah, thank you, Pastor, and thanks for having me on the program. For many of us who have 1/10 or less than 1/10 of the challenges you face in Ukraine right now, you know, we don't have the zeal, enough passion to go on, you know, because of the problems we have. You know, but you, with all the resources you have and everything, which makes it more frustrating. You can be anywhere you want to be in the world. You know, financially, those ones, that's not even your constraint. But when you're constrained in a place and you're still, you know, going on as if nothing, you know, is happening, nothing is happening to you, nobody is holding you back, you know, as if you're free, you're who you want to be, everything. I think that's it's a great move, Pastor.
Someone called me 2 days ago from the nation of Bahrain. Do you know Bahrain?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
One of the countries.
If you are going to say you know and you don't know, you know, you are going to run into trouble with me.
No, I've heard my daughter say in countries that were something like that. Pakistan, Bahrain is one of them. Am I right? Oh. I've heard her in one of our assignments just saying this, and I heard Bahrain there. Okay.
The problem is that I know Nigerians are not too good, especially women. They are not too good in all those geography and international politics and all that. But Bahrain is, you are almost right, but you are not. Because it's the opposite direction of Pakistan. Pakistan, you know the neighboring countries of Pakistan?
Yeah, I know the stands. There are some stands that, you know, broke, you understand? I thought it was one of them.
Yeah, the ones that broke.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about that one. That's Pakistan,
Yes.
Bangladesh,
Yes.
Sri Lanka, and India.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are in one block of countries like that. But this Bahrain is also in another block. Now, the one we just spoke about, they are in Asia, in the Central Middle Asia. But this one, there is something they call, what do you call it? Where Middle East.
Yes.
This is where it's the opposite. So that one is where India is, and you know where India is and where Saudi Arabia is, where Israel is.
Yeah.
They are totally the opposite, different. So this one is closer to, if you want to use it like that, is near Dubai or Yemen or Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Middle Eastern country, closer to Ethiopia or Egypt. While Pakistan and India are closer to, you know, yeah, they're closer to Iran and, you know, very far from, even closer to China.
Okay.
Yeah, China. you know, okay. So this guy called me from Bahrain. But just for you to, what I'm talking about is that Bahrain is a country that you don't hear about so many times. And I mean, it's a Muslim country. And this guy is calling me from there. He said, he wrote me first. And he was not sure that I was going to reply because he said, I don't know if this letter will ever get to you.
Ah. You read that, you get to your letters.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. I just went on the internet and put on the Adelaja and found this email, that this is your email. So I'm writing to you, but I'm not sure if it will ever get to you. And if it will ever get to him, if they will ever even let him read it, or will he ever reply? And I replied that same day, 5 minutes after I found it. And so the guy was so surprised. And he wrote it a day before, maybe it was a different time. So I saw it, immediately I saw it. So he said he woke up in the morning with that dream one day before, and then now he went back to, he wrote the letter and went to sleep. So, but when he was sleeping, he saw another dream about me saying, I got your letter and I've already replied. And he was worried that I would not even get it. So in the dream, he got the second dream. So the first dream was the main message. And this second dream was say, I got your letter and I've replied, check your inbox. So he woke up and went to check his inbox, and lo and alas, the letter was there. So now, what was the whole thing about? he was saying that he saw a dream that this was a mud situation, like a, you know, this kind of muddy flood, there, where people, I showed something similar the other day, and this guy doesn't even know. It was a day after I showed that muddy scenario. So it was a muddy flood, and people were, 2 children were sinking in that mud. You know, the way it sinks, so the flood of mud, but not water, but mud. So these 2 people were sinking in there, but there are 2 of them, like children, like they're my children. My wife was standing beside somewhere, but she was standing on the dry ground. And because I was the one who wanted to save them, so there was a solid concrete something wall or something that I jumped into, and I was holding on to the wall to try to bring them up, those children up. But since there were 2, there is one of those 2 children, they were like teenagers. So one of them was like more related to me, like my son. Like there are two of them are like my sons, but one of them is more like my closer to me, like my own blood, somebody so that's closer to me, more my relations. So 2 people who are my children, but one is closer to me than the other one. So, but the one in front was the one who was not by blood related. So I said, no, wait, let me reach out to the one that is closer to me first, by relation. So I was going to save the other guy. So I was saving the one that is related to me. As I was dragging him first, that one said, but you were leaving me behind, but I was the one in front before now. So he held onto the leg.
I get the children part, you know, Ukraine, Nigeria. Yeah, so I got that.
He held onto the leg of the one that was trying to rescue and jeopardizing the whole effort, holding everything back. Just talking about what we are talking about, that me being here in Ukraine, people say I don't want to go, but it's Ukraine that is holding me back. I'm just telling you the story that this just came.
Yes. And when you actually wanted to stay, then Ukraine was saying you should go, you must leave, you must leave. And then
now that I want to leave, they say I couldn't. They will not allow me to go.
That's
and many people have told me that before, is that this country itself doesn't want. They are jealous. They are afraid of letting me go. But they are just using the lawsuit to delay. But really, they don't want me to go. And that's what that dream is confirming. So, but being here and not having the opportunity to go, and I'm not the only one like this. A lot of Nigerians in diaspora who are watching us right now, they might want to also begin to do something, or they might have a heart for Nigeria, or even for their own country. But let's talk about Nigeria now. But they don't know where to start. And and some people say, I just spoke to a few people who just came back from Nigeria, in England and America. They called my program and they said the situation is even worse than we're thinking. It's much more difficult.
Exactly.
Is that the situation?
Exactly.
But you just came back.
Yes. Just as you said, the situation on ground in Nigeria is worse than we talk about. You know, because we look at we don't have maybe our rates, foreign exchange is low. We look at all those things, all those indices that point to a nation being, okay economically or not. But in real fact, the ones that you point out on the programs now, about people who don't have food to eat, people who don't have clothes to wear, people who don't have basic necessities of life, they are much more than we know. Oftentimes we talk about security and all those things. These people don't have it, and they don't. These are not their first concern. That's not the first concern. It's eating, to sleep and all that. When we're joking sometimes, maybe just cracking jokes, we say people in the motherless homes, they are more motherful they are better off than those who are motherful. You know, we just, I mean, motherless is more than motherful, because at least they get two meals a day in all these places that, you know, maybe government set up on. But when it comes to certain families in Nigeria right now, 2 meals, it cannot afford to give children 2 meals a day. And not only can they afford to give the children 2 meals, they send them on the streets to go and sell. They sell and they can't even, you know,
make ends meet.
They can't make ends meet. And even what they sell, they can't touch. They can't, you know, even buy oranges or buy something to suit themselves. It's that bad. You know, there's this one, as an example, for instance, there's this woman in the estate I used to stay in tourist recently, and you know, she sells fish around the estate. I noticed that her children were kind of aggressive, you know, and she had issues here and there, you know. But one, you know, I buy fish from her. I just greet her. I laugh. That then one day I wanted to buy something from her, and I didn't. What I wanted to buy, you know, my money wasn't exhausted, maybe because she didn't have, you know. And I just decided to give her the remaining 1,000 naira. And the way she was, just as you show people on TV, the way she was stuck, and she was so shocked, and she stayed on. I was like, is it not 1,000 naira? 1,000 naira is like $3 or less. And tears ran down her eyes, and she knelt down. 1,000 naira, and this is a woman I know. She stays on the streets and everything, you know. As an example of people you think they are still fearing. She sells fish. Her children, you see them going to school. She was weeping. She said, that if it never crossed her mind that she could get that extra 1,000. That had, so she told the story and everything. When she finished, I was like, wait, let me go inside and just give you the extra that I had left, you know. And I went inside that day, maybe it was 3,000 something, and I put it there. And from that, she came back. She sat down with me and we discussed. I found out that, look, this woman still looks good compared to the many I see and I bypass. And to find out that she was actually going to remove her children from a certain public school, which seems to even rate better than others, because of, as you were saying, Pastor, I don't know, $3, I don't have to, you know, quote it now. They have to pay 4,000 naira every term, so that school standard can be a bit, you know, okay, even though it's a public school. But parents agree to be paying a certain sum, so that it will not be like some other public schools that are so totally neglected. So she was saying she was going to remove her children from there, even though it was close to the estate. She was taking them somewhere. She was just telling me, you know, after that they are going to move. And I said, why? She said, this school they take for 4,000 naira. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4. She said, but the other ones they take nothing. That once you pay PTA at the beginning of term, so that what you did. But the children would trek long distances. And she said, no, I should not worry. They would just. So I had to look at her and say, we're going to put these children into so much stress because of how much? Because what she sells, the fish she sells, is only able to barely feed them. Even the children that they help her to go and sell on their own, it barely feeds them. So the problem in Nigeria is like all of us are just working, and oftentimes we ignore each other. But those who are working side by side with you, their children go home, they sleep, you know, hungry. They sleep without, they walk around without shoes. I mean, the stories you tell, you know, about yourself not having shoes, as far back as then, there are children even now,
50 years ago,
yes, who don't have those shoes to wear. But oftentimes, because we live in fine estates, you know, we don't live where they live. We stay, you know, we go to school in good, places. You don't come across these people. We forget that there are some people in these neighborhoods, and they are in.
But which is also an indication of the lack of love in our society.
Yes, Pastor.
Because since we don't even notice them, even though they are the majority in that country.
They are. They are.
And the fact that we can believe in and don't pay attention, and even what is making her to cry most is that somebody will even give her.
Yes, that is the shock. She was shocked that
not about the amount,
not
but
the
amount
amount
that you will even consider
to give her,
which means that's a strange thing in the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a common thing. It's not something she comes across every day
at all. And it was later I realized that after my interaction with her, I checked months after, her face calmed down.
The
way, yes, it wasn't the money. It was, I guess, as you always say, the touch of that love. The people that she was quarreling with one particular woman, because that woman also sells, so you know that rivalry and all that. But she had this. It was as if she was so hot-tempered. Her temper came down. She was no longer that kind of woman.
Aggressive.
She was no longer aggressive. She was no longer angry. She smiled more until I left. You know, this will be about a period of 2.5 to 3 years. You know, that we've been in this relationship, the woman and I. And I found out that she has changed. Even her children, they come to my house to come and, you understand, play and all that. They've changed. They've mellowed down. You know, you see, it's difficult. You find out that most of the time, these people don't even get any kind of love. And they are in the majority in Nigeria. They are in the majority. And she goes to church. She belongs to CAC, doesn't wear earring. She will go to Sunday service. She will go to, you understand. And as you were saying this morning, it's Nigeria. It's like we have learned, everybody has learned to just carry his load by himself, to help himself.
Neglecting others.
Yes, someone like her that should expect help, you know, from church, or you know, she doesn't even think about it. The fact that she devotes her time to go there and choir and everything, she doesn't even think about it. They don't care, and she also takes it to be the norm. That's
no, because that's the norm in the country.
That's the norm.
The norm is not that people will be cared for.
Mm-hmm. It's not at all. In everybody, you know, a friend of mine on Facebook posted the story of one guy, and everybody was like, wow, wow, wow. You know, this man, just like some of these things you share, you know, took his neighbors. He has been seeing this Hausa people, they as megads, security, and 4 children in Lagos. 4 children. He was keeping, maybe in the north, it's not so strange. He was keeping 4 children in the house, not going to school for a long time. And when he was passing by and everything, and one day he stopped and said, "These are young children. What?" And the guy said, "There is no school that I can put them, and if he puts them, too expensive." And I learned the guy took the 4 of them and put them in the same school his children go to. I know the man, and I think there was one of those times he wanted to talk with Evie, so if I mention his name, you will know him. I was so impressed when I heard, because this is almost non-existent. That someone will think of other people. You see the problem and see that I am the solution to this problem. That if this problem, I can see it and I notice that this is a problem, that I am the one to solve it. It's
not the normal mentality.
It is not. And as I was saying this morning when we were discussing, unfortunately God, even though God has placed love inside of us, but every one of us finds we satisfy our consciences by giving in church. Yes, not our consciences. So that our consciences, when they give in church, you know, they just feel like, oh, I've done my part, I've given. You know, and because I've given, I'm okay. I'm okay before God, I'm okay before man. And then they just, you know, and you just pass by everyone. And Jesus made sure he put that example in the Bible about passing by, you understand, someone. So it's a daily thing. You pass by, you know, and we keep passing by, you know, them, you know, every day.
What happens to the conscience of Christians who are passing by?
That's what we're talking about. Something has happened. These consciences have been seared. This is like we no longer even see it as our duty. We look and we say, oh, somebody should be doing this. Oh, government is failing the people. Oh, the church should do something. Oh, somebody somewhere should be doing something. How can children be on the street like this? We point at anyone or everyone that should be doing these things, and it never occurs to us that we can be, you know, that person that should be doing it.
No, not that we can be. We should be thinking that any other person.
If I see it, I should, you know, be able to do something about it.
Reaction.
That is the natural. But unfortunately, we are so far away from it. We're so far away from it. I mean, you pass by someone who is doing this. You pass by someone who really needs you, and then you're rushing to go and carry something to go and give a bishop that doesn't need you. A bishop that doesn't need what you want to give. We do this all the time. It's unfortunate. And there's so many categories of people in need There are so many categories of people in need. Not just children who their parents are not feeding. There are children who are, you understand, who are being, apart from the fact that they don't now also have money, they are being oppressed, cheated.
What do you mean oppressed, cheated? Where?
Okay, for instance, if you go to all these homes for teenagers or children, they call it
orphanages.
No, not orphanages now. Remand homes. We have remand homes in Nigeria where a child offends. I don't know what they call it here, but when a child offends, does something, you can't go to prison. You can't be remanded in prison. It's remanded in a correctional center. They call it remand homes. Correctional centers. Yes. For children.
Youth correctional.
Yes, that are not up to 17. So I walked, my husband and I, and a group of us, about 6 of us, we walked in one of these centers. And what did we discover? You see, you find children who are locked up for minor offenses. As an example now, who are locked up for minor offenses. Now, it's supposed to be a correctional center. A place where you bring children, maybe someone stole something and was reported, and they're still under 17, you bring, and he has a case in court, or maybe a rape, by a child, they bring them. They are supposed, the law provides that they are treated well fed. It even stipulates that they should have 3-course meals, everything. And government provides this money. But when you get in there, one, the food is nothing to write home about. In the first instance, you find out what brought them there. You will be shocked at the nonsense stories that you hear from people who brought them. They say this person he threw knockout. There's something we call knockout fireworks. It's banned in Nigeria now. But they banned it just with lips, without action. But with the children of the poor, the police will go around Christmas time and pick as many as they can, and then when they've picked them, they take them to police station, and then they say they should bring money. Now the poorest of the poor, who cannot give that amount of money that they're asking for, they pack them and take them to remand home. They did this to, at least I know 2, who stayed there for 2 years.
I remember when I was growing up, they used to call them something. Is it welfare?
Welfare, yes, welfare. That's one of the names they said. It's welfare. It's Ministry of Women.
When I was a kid, when we misbehaved, they would say
threaten you with welfare.
Welfare.
Yes. They say we'll take you to welfare. That's the place. Now, if you go there, those states now, until recently when this government came in, because we intervened, and because we worked there, we were able to talk with. To write to the governor before he came in, so he knew the situation. But the last government, now the place was so terrible. They locked these children up from morning till night. They will not allow them to go anywhere. Why? Because all the social workers, maybe they're supposed to be 10 on duty, there will only be 2. And they're supposed to stay with them to be, move them around. There should be counseling. It's supposed to be a place where nothing like that. No one is interested in them. So they lock them up, so that they will not get lost, or they will not run away or do anything. They're supposed to be fed 3 times and fed well. They'll feed them 2 times. No meat, no fish, no nothing. When you look, these are some of the things that, when you look at all the injustices that are happening, you realize that by the time these children get into the system, they are going to hate the system, they are going to hate their country. They are going to hit back. Or hit back, yes. They are going to be so angry because children are never supposed to be treated like this. Some of them are raped, some of them are, you understand, even while we worked there, shortly after we were sent out of there, because we worked there, shortly after we were sent out of the one in Ondo State, we were told that someone was raped, and we still reported
in that
particular place.
Who is raping them there? One another?
No, not the children. Because they are girls, they are boys. The boys are always locked up. Then they are the girls. They're supposed to lock them in the night, but they leave them to play around. Anyone who chooses.
No, do they come out of the facility?
No, right in the facility. It's the social workers that are in charge of them. The security guard that are there. They are the ones that are planning all those things. They sleep with them. They do things like these children. When you see them, they can't talk in the morning. But I'm just pointing to this as one of the things, that there are many things, many areas in which we can come in. In which we can build support systems to help government, you know, because we say government is not doing it, and if I analyze this from the work we did with them, if I analyze all this to you, you will know that this has nothing to do with government. This has to do with you and I being ready to go and help check what is on ground. You know, Pastor, in this government, they started giving food to students, pupils of primary school. Some say there is no need, because they don't understand that there are actually some children that if they eat that one meal, that will be the real meal they've eaten that day. The other thing is to go home and take Gary, and their parents are so grateful for it. You know, but the thing is, the only thing we see is once in a while somebody puts a picture on Facebook and says, see the food that was given to these children, see how poor it is, and you find out that that can be a pastor there that is talking, maybe a church member that is talking. No one thinks that, at least I know how much these people are supposed to be fed. How do we get in here to see that this thing
support the efforts of the government?
Support the efforts of the government, and even see, you beam some light on who is making the food go low, because it works. From my experience, it works. What we did in the welfare center, the remand home, has brought great results. Even though, of course, we were chased out, has brought great results. And these are some of the things that, if we are going to transform Nigeria, Pastor, we must all be ready, one way or the other, to say, okay, one, for the ones on the street, what kind of systems can we build to take them away from the street and all that. For those who are even being taken care of, even our educational system, our health system, every single thing, I tell you, Pastor, abundant money, enough money is budgeted for all these things from the top. So, but before it gets to the bottom, it's squandered somewhere. So how can we, you understand, transform Nigeria? We transform Nigeria by also, joining hands, doing those things you are talking about systematically, to build systems, to support these things, to check these things, or else there's nothing. Even if you have a saint as a president, from now till 10 years' time, things won't change.
You said there are a lot of other numerous other problems. Look, apart from these children you are talking about, what are the other social or issues that we have in Nigeria? Is it mentally derailed people?
Yes.
Is it prisons or prisoners? Is it the poor, underprivileged? Are there the street hawkers?
Mm-hmm.
What are they? Because a lot of people on our platform here, they are also wondering, what can they support in Nigeria? What are the other needs that you could reach out to, or people like you, or your team, and your group, you and your husband, and what are the other problems in Nigeria? Somebody might just be led to say, I'm interested in this particular.
Okay, as you mentioned, the mentally challenged. The mentally challenged, is something that my husband and I are very interested in, helping to alleviate. I've been doing some work with them.
How is the situation like in the...
It's so bad in Nigeria, Pastor. Up till now, even on this platform, if you say, confess, tell the truth, what do you think is responsible for mental challenges? Many of them say, many of them, it is, but many of them will tell you, some of them, they killed somebody, it is their evil work that caused it. Many of them actually think, till today when you see our Yoruba, many people in Nigeria, many Nigerians actually think that if you see someone on the street mentally challenged, it is because he has done one evil somewhere.
No.
Till today.
I don't even connect that one.
They believe he's done something. You see, the reason is because, you see, mental challenge brings...
But see, I grew up in Nigeria. I can't remember that part.
The reason is, they say, Otika, in Yoruba, Wanoka.
Yeah, but people who confess, they beat them to die or death, or they die immediately thereafter.
But now they don't always beat to death. They leave them. When
we were growing up, they will say he has confessed and the stomach has grown up and he dies.
But this one is that, look, so what they mean by confession, mental challenge brings with it talking, yes. Hallucination. Then the person can begin to say even things, I have had this experience, I know. Begins to say things he did not do. You see, if there were things that went wrong that caused trauma.
So people are believing in the hallucination.
Yes. So if the person comes and say, Mayowa that will not, maybe with some things that are wrong with Mayowa that will not eat in the morning, it's me. I will make sure you will not eat. They do that.
But that is schizophrenic.
Schizophrenia. Thank you. That's just it. Schizophrenia. The person begins to blame himself for all the things around. And people believe that he's confessing. He's making confession of the things he does. Now they will leave that person and say, let him be good. Because most of the time, if we talk about people around and all that, you say, what's my business? Even if they like, let this place come down. When it comes down, what is my business? Even the father, the mother, sometimes by the time they will go and find out from prophet will tell them that he's the one responsible for your business that is going down. He's the one responsible for his younger brother. I have a case that we took to hospital, psychiatric hospital like that. The father, even though he was supporting us to go, very educated man, he was saying the girl was responsible for the collapse of his business. They've told him. And the girl, meanwhile, the girl suffers from schizophrenia. Even her mother is on the street. You know, we're suffering the same thing. You know,
why street? Why the street?
Oh, what happens?
How can you say the man is educated and will allow the wife to roam the street?
Because they had divorced before then, you know, before she started having the problems. So she came on the street. The girl now, the case was growing up. Then she got somewhere along the line in her university stage. Then she had, then all her siblings were taken abroad to school. Then her father told her.
Nervous breakdown.
Yes, her father now told her, because you are in Part 4, do not go yet. Finish and you will join them. And she said no. But her father was like, no, nothing could be done. You know, they didn't know she had the traits. They didn't know she had it inside of her. That something was, and then she just, you know, from there. She just from then, since about 15 years ago, she has not gotten herself. So she stays at home. But still, she just walks around and, you know, stuff. But the father, you know, everywhere the treatment has caused more problem for her than the problem itself, because now she's anti-drugs. She doesn't want to take drugs, and they've gone to several places and tied her down. And she's such a brilliant girl, and English, everything. She was very everything, but her father, as educated and enlightened, as traveled as he is, thinks that the girl is evil. It is in the spirit world they are controlling her, and so do many people. So why do they end up on the street? One, there are people, because of these beliefs, they will just give up. They say, somebody, a child that is even after my life, a child that is the one that is doing my business, let her go. You just allow your family to go on the street walking and no treatment. And then there are also the other people who they are trying to manage the situation. But the cost of psychiatry in Nigeria, you'll be surprised, Pastor, is shocking. In Ondo State, the former governor that was in Ondo State, Mimiko, did so well by providing free antenatal, free mother and care charge for this thing. People who chose to give birth. But psychiatry is so expensive. You can't even find free bed. There's nothing, even if you are ready to pay for it, you pay for everything. What it costs to even sleep for 1 week is more than minimum wage. So how do you expect poor people to manage? So what happens is, by the time they want to treat this person the normal way, and they'll take the person to Babalawo.
No, but when I used to grow up, they used to have a center for psychiatric treatment.
Yes, they still have them.
Aro in Adelaja.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, still there. Still there.
Okay, so they used to say, if in Yoruba, in my culture, and in my area where I came from, when anybody had mental situation, they will just send them to that Aro or somewhere.
Yes.
But they don't see them as, we don't connect it with witchcraft. They just connect it as somebody has He has lost his mind. So they just don't, but they don't pay for it. They just abandon them that they are over in that place.
There is nowhere now, at least in those states that I know. I don't know the case of Aro. I doubt if they don't pay. But as of Ondo State now, or any other state that is supporting this thing, there is nothing free for psychiatric patients. Nothing. They pay and pay heavily. And so what happens? When they cannot pay, they have, even for those who have the money, it's a challenge, you know, taking care of mentally challenged people. It's a challenge, because you have to keep, somebody has to keep watch. Even though they are okay, once they are taking their drugs, they are fine. But somebody has to keep watch that they do not forget. Because when he forgets to take, maybe for 2 days, he may not take again, because his mind is not now in a good state to remember to take. So the issue is someone, if someone with mental challenge marries, that ends it, you know, that with a good wife or a good husband that reminds him or her to take the drugs, that is taken care of. But in a situation where he has nobody, or maybe he has grown up in such a way that he's no longer with his parents or maybe are dead or something, nobody that thinks this is my person, nothing must happen to him, he will end up on the street. There should be free treatment somehow. I have stopped blaming government for this. Now, as I'm saying it, I say we must provide free treatment.
We Christians.
We Christians, we that believe in God and believe we want to transform Nigeria, must provide free treatment for mentally challenged. Not only are we providing free treatment, we must also be able to like counsel, help families to come together after this kind of traumas, because there are people who maybe someone who has 2 wives, and the child of one of the women is the one that has the mental challenge. This can cause rift. They say, oh, she's been trying to do evil. Now that's why that's why the thing now came back to haunt her. That's why her child, maybe she was trying to do evil to somebody, then her child. No, there are so many families that have become, you know, enemies. And then there's some, maybe partner, husband and wife, you know, that because the partner does not understand the problem, you know, and maybe this partner, this wife or husband is always arguing senselessly, you know, they can't understand that the problem of mental challenge is one of that unreasonable arguments, you know. And because there's nobody to tell them that this unreasonable argument is not intentional, it's something that, look, if he's treated, he'll stop arguing. They also keep getting angry till the family will separate. So we need to come in here, because there must be counseling for them. There must be, you know, an effort to bring families who have been torn apart because of a misunderstanding, a lack of understanding of these issues. You know, families who have been torn apart, there is need to bring them together. So, Pastor, there is so much work. You know, you understand, out there, so much work.
So it's not just the ones in the streets that need help, like people go and give money in the street or something.
At all. Actually, those ones who are on the street have become, you know, the one that you just give money. Thank you, Maya. You just hand money over to.
Because I'm just thinking, no, what is happening is that you can drink my water. What I want to say is that, how did we address this situation in Ukraine here? Just for people who are watching us. You know, yesterday I spoke about love is action. So if any one of you is there and you are looking for what to do, you know, I spoke about taking our tithe and offering and taking them and just putting them aside and making sure that you are sending your tithe and offering to somewhere, or part of your tithe and offering you are sending to support some people. Let God know that when he was naked, or when he was in the hospital, or when he was hungry, that you are taking care of him. So for you to qualify for that we all need to make it a system. So instead of just using our tithe and offering for church, we could actually have part of it that we are sending to take care of vulnerable people like this. And then if you want to do that and you don't know where to start, that's why we should contact people like IRETI, who have a heart, people like her who have a heart for it, and she has a heart for it. And then she is well aware of different problems. Because right now what most people do is that they take food to the street. But apart from the streets, there are a lot of institutions even where a lot of desperate situation that we are hearing about. So what about prisons? Do you have an idea?
Thank you, Pastor. Our prisons, we only see pictures, you know.
What is pictures?
Pictures coming out from there. And the pictures we see, they are, I don't know, what should I use? Horrific. These are people that I can imagine if I worked with the children that people come in to see, you know, regularly, and I see how cheated they are, how much deprived of the things that have been provided for them, how deprived they are. You can imagine adults that the whole nation is feeling, well, they deserve it. They put themselves there. You know, they did something wrong. You know, they are outcasts. You know, you can imagine how theirs is. The issue is they are provided with enough money. Government provides enough money for them to eat 3 square meals, but they don't eat, sometimes at all. And they leave them starving. Now, note something, Pastor. Most of the people in our prisons are not even, are not the criminals. The criminals. No, they are not the criminals.
They are the people detained before sentencing.
Sentencing, yes. And on the other hand, the real criminals, when they offend and they are caught, they pay big money. Then police will catch somebody else and use to replace them, and that person is there, can be there for life. And the real criminal is back on the streets. You know, a girl worked with us when we were working with these children at the correctional center. She was a lawyer, and she was like, until she met us, she thought she was never going to practice law. She just finished law, and she said because where she first, before she came to serve, where she was working, that they went to prison, and she was sitting down to talk with everyone, and each time she talked, she concluded that there was no way you could help, there was nothing you could do. She did not know you could engage the way we're engaging governments, you know, she didn't know it was possible. So she was thinking, where would she start from? Where? I mean, everybody is coming in here, just leaving them there, and the people, you talk to them, even the lawyers coming in know that they're not the ones. The guards know that they're not the ones who've offended. They know that they have committed no offense. Now, why do they even keep them there? They want the numbers, both in the correctional center and prisons. They want the numbers. These people who collect money to feed prisoners. They want the numbers, because if you have 40 people, government is going to be paying you for 40 people. If you have 100 people, government is going to be paying for 100 people. So why would they keep, for instance, 15 people, 20 people in locked up, boys locked up in a correctional home, and maybe some other 10 girls there for years, when they are supposed to process all these things within a month, according to what government said? So why are they keeping them there? Because the number is what will enable them to collect more money from government. The more the number, the more money they collect. So you see them keeping children who should not be there for more than 1 month for 2 years. Now we're still working with children who were there for 2 years for just, as I said, for throwing fireworks during Christmas. So there's a system that is there, that everybody is working hand in hand to keep prisoners in prison. And these are not prisoners yet. I mean, real prisoners. They are just supposed to be detained.
They are supposed to be in jail, not in prison.
Yes, they are not.
But there is no jail in Nigeria. They are just prison.
Yes,
jail
they are supposed to be detained.
They are supposed to be detained. That's not jail.
Yes.
Then prison is where people
are sentenced to. But there's nothing like that. So they keep them there, and they don't let them go. They don't want them to go. You know, that was one of the issues we had with this correctional home. You know, let me even give you some of the things that we met there. Because, you know, many people who are talking with you and saying we're doing something in Nigeria, sometimes when they talk, I'm happy that they are doing something, at least they started. But sometimes I cringe when I think of what may actually be happening to their money. You know, when they say, oh, we send this to a motherless home. You see, government motherless homes, when you send food there, they never give the children. Reason? Government has provided for the children to eat, but some people are spending it. They are still not going to give them. Now, when you send clothes sometimes, because whatever money has been provided for them, they will not give it to them. So clothes, sometimes they see a little of the clothes, but the best of the clothes, they will take home. This happened to us when we started in the correctional home. In the first instance, when we were going, I was in Ukraine here. I came to visit. And my husband, you know, was the one, and the remaining number of people that are in our group were 6 of us, you know, were the ones that started. And the reason they started, Pastor, was because where we saw one homeless person, one mentally challenged person in front of the office, and my husband took him to this correctional home, because this correctional home also has a facility where they keep children, where they keep mentally challenged. This same correctional home is not supposed to be, but that's where they keep them. So they're just a wall apart. So when they got there, as soon as we dropped them, dropped this mentally challenged person, you know. My husband was like, okay, we will be coming for the upkeep of this mentally challenged, and we'll see what we can do to help. So he dropped food and dropped some, you know, item and dropped everything with them and left. As he was going, you understand, he saw them, the person that he gave the things, pack these things to his own house. Pastor, the first time when he came back, he was talking to me. I was in Ukraine here then. I was talking to me. He said, "That's something strange today. You know, we carried this person that I said we saw. We carried him there. Then we dropped stuffs. Then with the things we dropped, this man carried it to his house." I said, "Maybe that's their method. What do you think it is the matter?" The next time, he now went. The 6 of, apart from me, 5 of them, the remaining 5 in our fellowship now went. When they got there, they carried food, everything. This time around, they packed things, and they just, as they got there, the man was not even ashamed to even sit. He said, "Please, can you just bring the car to this side? This is the store and the kitchen for the children here." Then he had them drive the car to his house to go and drop all the stuff that we brought. Now, this was what got us thinking. We're like, it's one thing to be spending money in this place. It's another thing to know that the money is doing something. And we later found out that truly this is what they do. And that was why we just systematically, we with some wisdom, we applied to come and be helping them more. We told them, let's come in and come and help you more. And that was where we discovered most of their secrets. You know, because we now came in with them and we're working inside there. We had a nurse, we hired a nurse in the correctional center. They didn't have one. You know, we now found out that the mentally challenged sometimes will be ill. They will leave them and be writing that they wanted money, and then the mentally challenged will die. When he will die, they will call the children. Even some of the children died, according to what we're told. Then they will ask the children to go and bury them, to go and dig graves and bury, go and bury dead body, children that came, you know, because of one silly one thing or the other. All these things are not allowed, you know, of course, in the law, you know, but they will do it. So by the time we're there, we're able to find out, and the children, you know, we're able to like work with them, even improve their feeding with our own money. We started buying them, you know, stuff and everything. But after that, government took it over and insisted that the money should count. So the money started counting, the food improved and everything. But what you find out is that, look, there are people who are there to sabotage whatever government wants to do. If we want Nigeria to work, apart from the fact that we're going to do our own things outside, we're going to like have our own, just as they do in Ukraine here, we're going to have our own organizations, NGOs, all of us. We must be interested, we must do something. You know, apart from the fact that we're going to have our own, we must also show interest
in monitoring
the institutions of government. And one of the ways that they listen to you is when you yourself, you are doing something. You see, when they see you're taking care of children, when they see you're taking care of certain people, and they know, they recognize you, and they know you're doing a true job, you know, they are interested in working with you. And for a while, you know, one of the things that used to pain us then was after we helped to do the cases of 2 people like that, and they were discharged, there were these judges that would call us, you know, and say, "Please, madam, do you handle cases of rape? That we have a girl that we need to be housed," and we didn't have a place to house someone. You know, we didn't have, you know, we're working on it, but we have not been able to get, you know, the finances to have a hostel, you know, to have boys hostel, girls hostel, and all that. You know, judges will be calling to say, you know, "Please, can we work together to, you know, these are the judges that care, you know, and all that," and even referred some social workers to us, you know, but we didn't have this system, as I told you.
You know, as we are talking about all these things, to somebody who is unprepared, they might all sound overwhelming. That all these problems are too overwhelming. But do you know that not to Pastor Sunday?
At all. Yeah, I've been here. I mean, coming to Ukraine to see how it is done here, put paid to my fears. Yeah, from the first time, this is my 5th time.
For me, no problem.
This is my 5th time in Ukraine.
I bring them on. Bring all the problems on.
You know, everybody is out doing one problem or the other. Everyone in the church.
That is the goal, and that's the strategy.
Yes.
What do we need to do? So how have we been able to face these kind of challenges in Ukraine? what we have done, and our biggest challenge is to first of all awaken the consciousness and the conscience of Nigerians and Nigerian Christians. We need to awaken, just like you are awakened now. We need every Christian to be a concerned Christian. Concerned citizens movement. Every citizen has to be awakened and have to be conscientious. So once we are able to awaken the consciousness of Christians and make them to be conscientious, to have conscience, to live by their conscience, that is to live by the principle of love and responsibility. Love and responsibility. So once everybody begins to know that they are their brother's keepers, once everybody begins to take responsibility for any sphere. For example, all these things that IRETI is mentioning, what we have done in Ukraine, is that all of you that are listening to me now, I will just announce in the church, because they have been trained, I just announce, I say, okay, which one of them rings a bell? Is it the girls that are being raped? Is it the ones mentally challenged children? Is it the the welfare or man?
Yes,
correctional centers. Is it the children in the street? Is it the homeless? Is it the ones that are out of school? Is it the ones that needs to be housed? What are the ones that are closest to you? So you now know that you have some reserves and some of your tithe that you must send somewhere, on a regular basis. So, but in our own case in Ukraine, it's not just sending your money, it's also committing your life
to it.
To say that is my own ministry.
Yes.
So once we begin to show example to government like that, government begin to wake up.
Yes. Yes, I have seen so many of them.
So it doesn't matter to me how many problems. Because the more problems they have, the more people we have.
Yes.
So as long as we have people, Christians, who are in the millions in Nigeria, if we can awaken them, they will be adopting every problem.
Yes, that's what happens here. I was telling you this morning, Pastor. I said, unlike what I see here, when members, everyone takes.
We don't do anything. We don't sponsor anything.
Yes, the church doesn't have
anything.
There's a church that is on the street I used to stay. I was telling you, I said, this is a church of how many thousands of people, and the mama, you understand, has one, what do you call it, a motherless home that has about between 20 and 30 people, and has one old people's home that maybe has maybe 10, 15 people, and all the nation, even international, the world, all their branches,
showcasing it.
Yes, they're showcasing it to people, and they're sending tens of thousands projects just because
it's a church project.
Church. Actually, it's supposed to be a personal one for the woman, but they see it as their personal, as their own church project. When I see bigger things here
by individual,
when someone will have branches of something all over Ukraine, taking care of one problem or the other, name it. Even problems that have not been named, one person will just have the burden and name it.
Yeah, that's it.
The first time I came here, I was telling someone, I said, look, it's not about the brave and the courageous only. I even saw the ones that look timid doing their work. When the war between Ukraine and Russia happened, when I came, that was about 3 years ago, and we're taken to this woman that was just starting, and she gathered that song where there was piano and they were singing, or they were coming, it was registering just to know who was displaced people. And they were not treated like internally displaced. They were in this cool place, and it was just taking list of their names and everything, as if she was government. After doing that, she will now connect. So what do we do? How do we get you to stay somewhere and all that, and make sure they stay somewhere? Now, after housing them, we now went to the house where they were housed. Look, ordinary people, housed these displaced people, and the kids were so happy jumping in houses that my house is not as fine as that place, to be frank. The house I live in Nigeria, it's not as far as that neat place that he provided. Everything, neat, beautiful, and the children were happy. I said, look, can you imagine this is a child that is displaced? And the only thing the child would know at that time was that she left somewhere to come somewhere. She found a home. Ready, people were ready here, waiting for, you understand, that flood of people who will come because of the war. But in Nigeria, the problem will be warning. We will see the signals that this problem is coming. We will wait for it. Then the problem will meet us. We will still be looking at it. Then the problem will be overwhelming us, and we will still be looking at it. So when I talk of problems, that there are many problems, I am not even feeling like, oh, there are so many problems. So, because I have seen it practiced here. Everybody has
the formula.
Yeah, the formula. Very simple. Everybody just speak yours.
Has a problem.
Yeah, everybody, yes. Just speak yours. There's something that bothers you. Then what can we do about it? Sit and organize.
Since love is action, like I spoke about last night.
Yes.
Love is action.
Yes.
So how are you going to demonstrate your own love?
That's just how am I going to demonstrate my love?
And your heart will respond to one need or the other.
Or the other. And then follow it up with action.
Yes.
If you are not able to go, that shouldn't mean you should excuse yourself forever. But there are times that you're not able to
send your money.
Send your money
to people who are working in that area.
And then make sure you follow up the money. I heard a woman say something. It sounded very good. That was it yesterday or day before yesterday? It sounded very good. He said some children needed to go to school, and so one woman was the one who connected her and all that. And when they wanted to send her evidence of the money having paid, she said, no, don't even worry. You understand? That's showing that she trusted the person. I said, well, good. If the person was found on this, probably she did the right thing. Good. But that should never be the standard. When you send your money, we must not make the same mistake we've made with churches. When you send your money anywhere, follow it up. Not because it's my money, so I want to. Follow it up so that even the person that you're giving the money to will sit up. Because when you sit down and you send the money, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when the person has absolute power over the money too, and no accountability, nothing. Sometimes his own pressures may make him to be diverting the money. Follow your money up. It is our responsibility. It is how we are good stewards of money. So there is so much to do. If it's money you need to send, then also get involved and be looking at, okay, so what are we going to do? Who are the people that are in the home now? And what, let's get involved. We must start. I personally, because some people may be watching and say, she's talking, but so what is she doing? Because we walked, as I said, over 2 years ago, when we walked into that place and we started working. Mentally
derailed people, welfare,
yes, children and everything.
Yeah,
we were there and we worked for several months. In fact, when we did HMT in Akure, we took them in there. They saw all the work we were doing and all that. But it got to a stage, and all the saboteurs there, the people that don't like things to go well, even though we're spending our money from our pockets and we're using our time, they have to be asking, are you not, is this not disturbing your work? But because we work, all of us kind of are business owners, the 6 of us that were going there, so it did not stop us from, doing this. But when we were coming and everything, they started doing all sorts. They started complaining that
the saboteurs.
They are civil servants.
Okay.
They are civil servants. Starting from the head of the home, the social welfare, this thing. Because what happened is that the moment we gauged what it is that they are supposed to eat, how much it ought to cost to eat, and all that, we sent it to the permanent secretary. And when the permanent secretary saw that this is what it should cost for them to eat well. At first, we were providing meat and egg on their food. When we got there, we did that for maybe about 1 month. Then the permanent secretary called us. He was impressed. He said, okay, you are treating these children well, but help me write down, what will it cost me to actually feed them very well? He wanted to use us to verify. So we now wrote what it will cost to have that good food and everything. When she saw it, she said, but we spend more than this. We spend much more than this. So she now wrote.
So the government has the money, and the government. So maybe we should even put a lot of effort in setting up a monitoring system.
That is very needed, Pastor. Monitoring system.
Just like they have the Amnesty International,
yes.
there's civil societies,
yes.
and control systems.
It is needed, and sincere ones, because Pastor, NGOs are in 2 forms in Nigeria. This is one of the traps I say we should watch out for.
Okay.
There are some NGOs that when they start, they just open an office in one big city, and then they begin to take money from internet. Yes, they can even go on the street and take some pictures that they are not really doing any work. and they take money, so if you connect with someone online, you have to be careful, because it may just be someone who is not doing anything but is just sending you pictures. But the real people who want to do this kind of thing we're talking about, there are people like you and I on this platform.
Is there any way to leave your name and your Facebook so that people could contact you on Facebook? What's your Facebook name so that people could get in touch with you?
Okay, IRETI Ojekhoa.
So that's the full.
Yes, that's on Facebook. IRETI.
Because any one of you might want to do something in Nigeria, and you might want to care for some people. IRETI might be able to help you and direct you, or give you advice, or counsel you, or even represent your interest in Nigeria and whatever you want to do. Yeah. So we are going to put IRETI's name or Facebook identity out there, so that you will be able to get in touch with her.
For now, you only be able to get in touch with me
through
Facebook, because my line will not be on.
Yeah, you'll be traveling.
Yeah, I'll be traveling too. Yeah. So, as I said, we after we worked for a while, and the permanent secretary was able to feed these children well, with a smaller amount of money. They got angry. All the social workers, they got angry, especially the one who normally collected the money and it used to go to our pockets and all that. They now started looking for anything just to chase us out. Eventually they said they had different counts of problems. They said we were taking pictures of the children, you understand? We have pictures
and
of the
they
children.
will have excuses.
Excuses and different things.
So the saboteurs in the larger Nigeria,
yes.
Why is it that we have 10 million children out of the school, out of school system? Is it also that, could it be possible that, because they said we have universal free education, yes, yet we have 10 million children, is it because of the saboteurs as well? Because I know that this new Minister of Finance, she's done really well with the ITA or something, what they call ATI or ITA, or money that is being collected.
Okay, TSA.
Okay, TSA. Yes. And then with a lot of control to see who are getting salary twice and who are civil servants and that are not there, dead people. She's really done she's doing a lot of good job in that area. Yes. But besides, do we really have universal free education? We don't.
Yes, we have. It's just that the education we have that
no
is totally free. It's totally free. It's not good education. It's not. It's no longer standard education. It's so poor, and that's also because we are not looking into these areas. People chop, even chop.
What about if a social? For example, one of the strategies that I have to resolve this question in Nigeria is that I want to start a campaign. Maybe not now. Maybe somebody could even start before I get there. Of social organizations and civil societies that will put pressure on the government, just like now the youth put pressure on the government and say they call it something, youth must rule or something like that.
Okay, not too young.
Not too young
to rule.
Okay, not too young.
To run, rather. Not too young to run.
Not too young to run. They put pressure on the government, and the government passed the law.
Yes.
That is the way civil society is supposed to be responding to any question in the society, any problem. Yes. So in that same way, I think that we could start a movement to campaign in a similar way for government to have monitoring system. Because, for example, in this country or in any civil society, you have compliance system everywhere. So any government welfare system or school system, they have controllers or compliance monitors or supervisors. Everywhere, even in private business, you have supervisors or you have controllers or you have monitors, monitoring agencies. So my own idea is that I will campaign for monitoring agencies or monitors or supervisors or controllers to be in everything that government is doing: health, education, civil service. So in every department there will be monitoring system, and I would like us to use military for that. Military that are not fighting, instead of them just being in the barracks and just doing, there will be a department of people, or maybe it's going to be social corps, what they call them, social.
Now the problem, Pastor,
or NYSC people.
Yeah,
something like that.
The problem we have, Pastor, why?
But they have to go through orientation.
Yes,
and talk well.
Of course. The problem we have, which is why it's good, what you're doing is so good, is that we have monitoring, we have these monitors. Even Constitution says that, you know, we must monitor, we have supervisors for education. If you are even learning how to teach, they come and check you, you know, all these things. But everyone is compromised down the line. You know, that is why sometimes when we're just thinking of solutions, first and foremost, it is people like us.
System, huh?
Yes, people like us who civil society, who just sincerely volunteers who want to do this,
who that will first go in
for money, who will first go in there and make things work, because they have good laws, they have checks and balances. But all the checks and balances only means that there are people to settle along the line, and you settle them. If there are 4 checks and balances for anything, then those 4 steps you will have to just balance. I mean, you have to tip them, you know, share something with them, you know, so that they can let.
That's what's corruption.
That's what is killing Nigeria right now. That is just the corruption. Everything, you know, go and check. Even this new feeding of this thing, I think it has about 3 layers of checks. You know, but if they are going to defraud the system, everybody will just cooperate and they will do it. But until some of us who are not in the system,
so which means the real problem of Nigeria is value system.
Is value system. We do not
people don't live by their conscience or by truth. No value of truth.
Yes, and because none of us is standing up
to defend
for
and
the
speak
truth,
out for truth.
even those who are there, who have
conscientious,
yes, they are gradually depleting.
Yeah, because they are the minority.
In the minority. And then, you know, because you suffer, the consequences of standing up oftentimes is that you suffer. You suffer. Either you are chased. I mean, I have experienced this a few times. So you suffer. And so when you suffered once, twice, 3 times, when you're seeing that this is where I'm supposed to be, but I spoke the truth, they removed me. This is where I'm supposed to be, but because I did this, then you keep quiet for a while. Then after keeping quiet for a while, Pastor, then, you know, the person begins to join them and becomes part of the problem. And unfortunately, Pastor, as you always point out, even the churches, now the people that we are talking about, these saboteurs I'm talking about, they will not wear earrings. The one that was heading this correctional center was not wearing church. By the time is what time? She has to rush to church. She has to go to church. All of them are school members.
Churches don't even teach value systems.
They don't, and they no longer even teach, knowing that this country is so corrupt. They are not asking their members, how are you standing where you're standing? You know, if you are a director, for instance, or you're a PAMSEC, you have to sign before a commissioner can steal. You know, and they said everybody is stealing. And you know a PAMSEC is under you. You know a director is under you. You never ask, yes, come and sit down here. How have you been coping? How come you have not been suffering?
You might not ask one like that, but there are messages that you can preach.
I know. I'm just
to them in general, even if you were not going to confront them.
Yes.
Like a church like Redeemed or, you know, winners that are in the thousands, they might not be able to even.
No, but they always have. Yes,
but
I know.
the message they are preaching is actually encouraging those things. The messages of instant gratification.
Yes, it's encouraging them to even go and do this thing.
And do this thing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
So
the messages that are being preached in our churches and pulpits is an instant. They will see that God's blessing.
Yes.
Messages of breakthrough. Messages of reaping where you have not sown. Messages of instant gratification. Yes. Messages of the fact that God will open the door for you this way. Is something instead of preaching the direct opposite.
It's me. They are me driven. The church is pushing everybody to go get something and come and show your gratitude to God. So at the end of the day, you see someone who is in church and part of church, is a deaconess, is a pastor, and this person is responsible for debts. Without considering the fact that my actions or inactions is what is causing the deaths of people. You know, this person is responsible.
Of the country.
Yeah, of the whole country. You know, education, you're in charge of children and they're supposed to have quality education, but the money that is supposed to be given for research, for them to have computer, for them to have this and that, you know, you and some other people have shared it. And so the children don't have this quality education, and you're not thinking that the result is that these people who are not getting good education right now, you're sending them to the society, that, you know, the consequences are grave. You know, so it's unfortunate that the church that should be the one that is checking some of those things, they are not checking them. Not only are they not teaching people to go out and be responsible, they are actually sending people out to be irresponsible, you know, to go out and just go out and go and hustle and get it, you know, like everybody is getting it. Just be church driven, be self-driven, be money driven, be whatever. Just be driven, you know, to fill your pockets. And the problems are so many. And the church won't do it, and the church won't let the people under them to do it. You know,
is it possible to partner with government or to work with government as social organizations, as NGOs and things like that? Or how do you see that?
Yes, it is very possible to work with government. You see, what I discovered is that, their bureaucracy, it may take long for you to get through. You know, but as I said, if you're doing something already, if you're making a mark, you know, even, you know, people can be impressed with very little. If you are taking care of certain number of people, you know, and all that, it's enough to command their respect, you know. And then when you approach them and you say you want to be of help, you know, even though they are not used to it, they are not used to people come and you be of help without asking for, you know, something, because they all the time who have been trying to even be of help, you know. You find someone saying, okay, let's come down to it. Is it a contract you're asking for now? And I'm wondering, I've been talking since, you know, you didn't get the fact that I'm telling you that I'm just a volunteer, you know. So most of them are not used to it. So when they see someone who truly cares and is ready to spend his or her money, is not asking for something from government, which is what everybody is doing, always asking for. You understand? They are willing to help. The thing is, you will have to go higher up, though. If you go and start with maybe the person who is in charge, who is the one that is the last in the ladder, the one who gets the money directly to feed to the people or to give to that system, you've probably made a mistake. Because let me give you an example.
For example, let's just focus on Nigerians in diaspora.
Okay.
You are the one on ground, so you people will know what to do. What can we, in Nigerians in diaspora, how can they work with you, for example, or how can they move? You know, they want to do something for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can they connect? How can they? How can they act?
Okay. For instance, our own project is like we're just getting a place where we want to take care of mentally challenged, and because we're already working with them, but we don't have a house for them, we don't have a home for them, for those ones who don't have homes to stay in. And we also want to you know, work with children, especially the ones that have come out of a correctional center and all that, who have been abused somehow, and they need these things. So to be honest, Pastor, one of the things that has been delaying, even though we found this facility, and the person also happens to be a Christian who also is interested, he bought the place even for this kind of
thing. For example, yesterday there are people who are asking, calling and saying, we also want to help, we need people, we need to be connected with people who are doing something in Nigeria, or who are trustworthy, who are already doing these things. How can we find them? So can they address you, or can they?
Oh, yes, of course. Of course, I can be of help in helping you to know what to do. On the other hand, if anyone, like maybe one or two people, would like to partner with us on mentally challenged and on people who have been displaced, you know, I mean, not internally displaced people, I'm talking of people who have suffered one way or the other, and they are trying to like get back into the society, you know, that would be a great help. Because one, we've gotten this big facility that the person says, okay, we don't need to pay for the next few years, but it needs a lot of renovation. And then once we've renovated, you understand, and you know, we already have these kids, you know, they are there, they are hanging there, we know where they live is not conducive for them, where they live is abusing them the more. These people are undergoing things that they shouldn't undergo as children, or mentally challenged are on the streets when they shouldn't be on the street, because their cases are just, you understand, you know, a case of schizophrenia, a case of something that, you know, can be, you know, solved. You know, if someone like, if our own group can find like maybe one or two partners, we will be very grateful. I mean, we work together, to see how to make this happen. But on the other hand, feedback and everything, you understand, and it will be such a relief, because we'll have gone much faster than this, if there was funds. We'll have gone much faster than this. I am someone that is looking at the possibility of not just doing in one state. We can actually have this kind of place I'm thinking of in every state of Nigeria. Because in every state, you have people who need a home for maybe 1 year while you're teaching them and getting them rescued from the situation that they found themselves. At the same time, people who need a reorientation, I see such homes here in Ukraine that people have for people, there's the Fatherhood Center. Yes. Fatherhood Center, where people come and you see great transformation, after stay. But oftentimes, when you're not able to house people, to take them away from what it is that is, keeping them in
their prevailing environment.
Their prevailing environment. If you don't take them away from it, at least for a while, what happens is they come to you, they hear what you say, they believe it, they go back into what it is that keeps dragging them back to what problems they have. And then the mentally challenged, we are saying that, look, we have the kind of number we can get from them. Just as here you use alcoholics, this way where you drug addicts and alcoholics with, the main force, people that, these are people that they are, you see, when people have such challenges, they've left everything. You don't need to preach to them that don't let the world hold you, don't be so driven. And when they get well, they are ready to do whatever good, you understand, that you have for them. And we believe that these are people that, look, there are so many. Each time I pass by a mentally challenged person, as a person, I stop. I feel like, sometimes when you're assuring me and saying, don't worry, when we come, things will, you understand. I was telling you this, I said the only problem is that because our eyes have opened, it's difficult to still pass them now. We know that we're going to do it, you understand, when you come and all that, but to pass them now, to pass by them and just walk away is difficult. So if we find one or two people who will
like
partner with us, it will be very
Is your contact there? Is a contact there? Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody should put your contact there or telephone. Maybe Israel. I know Israel is on. Maybe Israel could put his own telephone also, or Facebook, or something.
Yeah. That would be very great. And if there's anyone, because I also have this burden for people to realize their burdens too. So if there's anyone also who has something he wants to do, but please contact me, because maybe you have someone on ground,
or they have other areas that they have burdens for, and you could recommend them to
different people, or you have someone and you want to work with the person and you are working on it, but you want counsel, or you want me to help you look into it, to help monitor to see that this is real and this is what is feedback and all that. Control. I can also help with that. I'll be very glad to do that. So these are some of the things. Anything you want. If you think there's a way I can help you to check, although of course it may be expensive to go from far, if it's a very far distance.
Many people would not even like to, like they do in the church, they would not like to go be traveling. It's better to have somebody on ground.
Yes. So if you have someone here and you want to work with the person and you want someone to help you look into it, yes, I will also I will respond and
will be willing.
Yeah, be willing to help look into that.
So our time is going down because we need to, in 30 minutes time, we need to do another live broadcast. So what excites you about coming to Ukraine? Because you only came for 5 days this time. No, for 1 week. For 1 week. Yeah. Or 10 days.
It's 10, okay, minus the traveling, maybe it's the 9 days.
Yeah. So like a week. Yeah. So what is it about coming to Ukraine? What does that do to you?
This is the
just for people who are watching.
Yeah, this is the 5th time I'm coming, and I still have plans to come after now. You see, when you touch a place, touch, and not just a place, you touch Pastor Sunday, and the works here, you get reminded, you get re-energized. You understand that you are not crazy for wanting to do things in a particular way. That there are actually people who wake up every day and all they think about is how to solve their national problems, how to transform their nations. That
That's,
people
you are
wake
trying
up.
to say that you can see a model of
Yes.
what we need to do in Nigeria.
Yes, that here you see fire, you see everybody going. It's not about
Nobody
children.
telling them
They are not thinking. It's not about the child they have or the
their
children, their husband,
pregnancy,
pregnancy. These are not the discussions. Marriage or no marriage.
I was telling somebody, everybody in my house, the young ladies, all of them, they are almost not married, and maybe one person that I know who's not a virgin. All of them are virgins.
Yes.
30 something,
Yes.
40 something,
Yes.
even men.
Yes.
Like Alex, before,
Yeah.
or virgin, even men and women, virgins, and they are not thinking about marriage in morning tonight, or children, or something like that. They are all busy doing, and in the churches, thousands like that.
And this is a place where when you even see singles, I've been coming for 3 years. When you see singles, you don't get into conversation with you and they are saying, you see this problem.
Pray for me.
Where God really, where we go, we solve this problem.
I have a cause, generational cause.
That is only this problem because
It's only this
in
problem.
the churches, it's like once there's, even if the person is not talking about it, it's like you are already looking at the person and thinking that this is the only problem that is left for this person. Doesn't have doesn't have a husband.
Everybody here is
doesn't have a
about
child.
resolving the one problem
Or the
or
other. Nobody is talking about that, and so you are not married. So what?
Nobody even
there's
talks. There is no discussion even.
There is something that
More serious.
Yes, there's something more than you
That is
understand.
driving
Yes.
everybody.
When you see someone who is not married or someone who doesn't have children, and by the time you say these are the products of my life, I have 3 children.
You will even
Then
regret it.
that you said you now see the products of that person's life, then you now know that no.
You have not lived at all.
That the 3 children you have, or how many children you have, these are just something
There are
that
no
any
results.
animal
Any animal can
anyone can have children. But someone is telling you that, okay, this is what I do. It's just like that. I just hear that, no, I'm raising professors because it was easy for me to, because this is how I reach my world. I help people to pass their PhD, and I do this and that. You see another person saying, okay, this is...
Do you know Galina, what she does?
Yes. Yeah, I've been in one of her teaching. When she took us to some professors there.
Yeah.
Insufficient, went to talk to them. And it's not
That is Olena.
Okay.
What about Galina?
Okay. No,
The other one that you don't know what she does. She does the games.
Okay, yes, yes. Games for family. One that does games,
family.
For family, understand, to play and understand each other and all that. People that are setting themselves into solving problems, into impacting people every day.
And do you know what she does?
No.
She's a writer. She's writing everything. She's writing. She's written 30 books. In 2 years.
And then the other thing, you now also see...
They don't even acclaim to themselves anything.
Then you now carelessly just see people who are wealthy. No, Pastor, that was one of the things I saw when I came.
Yeah.
Young,
Who are well-to-do,
but
you
never know. They're just there, and I just look...
Simple.
Sometimes when I see maybe the quality of what the person is wearing,
you would think
just casually like that, no, I'll think this must be quite expensive. Then I see, but there's no loud noise about it. Then somebody will tell me, oh, maybe when he's teaching us or the testimony, you say when she made her $1 million, and then I say, chai, this one is not a joke, and they meant it,
And nobody will even make it.
And it's not a big deal, and everybody's just walking around.
Yeah.
I said,
equality.
That you said the 200 millionaires were met there. So it's easy. You see people young, maybe now that I didn't come for HMT, I'm not seeing them, but I remember them.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing
everywhere.
Everywhere, So they combine all together, and I know that the system in the church that was that you put in place, made it easy for those who wanted to do businesses and to find other people who already had it. So it was easy for people to be connecting and making this wealth after you made some millionaires and all that. So the system makes it it makes Nigerian problem look small. When I came,
so you are no more overwhelmed
at all. The first time I told the pastor, I said, now that I came here, I was even feeling. I now began to feel like, why have I been worrying my head all these years?
I can relax.
I can relax because God had this all worked out. God had this all worked out.
Because you have come here to see, so you can tell that there is solution, there is hope for Nigeria. But people who have not been to Ukraine, who are just listening to my teaching. They don't even know that I don't talk strategy when I teach. I'm just teaching, giving general knowledge. They don't know that strategy is a different ball game.
Entirely. And when it comes to strategy, you know,
to
be modest. I don't know. Sometimes we think we know it all, but there's something. But I do not know any other.
Even people. This is being practiced. Do you know Peter Wagner? Have you heard of that? That man was the leading professor studying churches, the specialist in the studies of churches in the world. He's a missionist. He's a theologian that is studying all churches in the world. And he said every church, maybe not every church, even the ones that are the most progressive, they only talk about it or dream that it's supposed God can come. But nobody has been able to find a formula. This is not talking because of something. He studied all churches in the world, and he's saying this is the only place where the kingdom has been practiced in practice. It has never been put to work. That what we are talking about.
Never seen it anywhere. Even the best people with good hearts, ministers that you say this one has good hearts, but the people are there.
But they don't have strategy.
They don't have strategy on how to take their nation. Many of them don't even know that.
Some people just pray.
Take their nation. Yes.
They think it's prayer that will take the nation. They don't know there is strategy for it.
Yes. I was in this this thing and I should not mention name now. He's one of those that I say, okay, among all of them, this one person I can say he's not extorting, he's straight. But you have about 100,000 people under you, and everybody is waiting for God to come and everybody's expecting that there's going to be a revival. There's going to be a revival, but nobody knows, as you always say, that it is we are the ones that are going to make the revival happen. There's formula for it. What is revival? I say once you begin to take care of certain people, once you begin to do this, and revival comes. Because the moment people begin to see
ignorance, people are innocently ignorant.
The moment people begin to see mentally challenged stand up of the street and they are they see alcoholics.
You get 1,000 of those ones. The whole country was closed.
Yes, and then they stand up and begin to testify that I was but even without testifying, they know. They say, I know this guy. I used to walk around and that is all. And everybody wants to listen to whoever has done that. That's the revival. So most people do not know, and those who know don't have the willpower to make it happen. So by God's grace, I thank God for what is happening. I thank God for you. The only thing is we are definitely too ready to have you, Pastor. Right now, just all I keep saying to God is we are going to be doing what we need to do, but it is time to just let this man come. We all have good. That one side. We need to remove that hand right now and let this man go, because it's not a joke. You see, many of us, even on this platform, that have become so eager to do. It's not everybody that is able to start without someone holding their hand without a leader. If you were not in the center saying, okay, what's in your heart? Then go and start. What's in your heart? Go and do it. If you were not there, even after you had taught and done everything,
nobody was there.
Yes, it will. Maybe eventually one or two will do, but it could never have been like this. But you were there, and as they were saying, this is what is in my heart. Then go do it. What do you need? Okay, this is how you do it. You were giving them the strategies. You were at the center there, and before you know it, you have 300 NGOs in the church. You addressing different things all over the nation. So I pray it every day, and I know that God, is in the business of making this thing we've all prayed for to come to pass now, so that Nigeria can.
So Ukraine to you is like coming to a place where you can breathe a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
And see solution.
Yes.
See that there is an answer.
Yes.
There is a solution.
Yes. And
it is not totally hopeless.
That is not hopeless. And also the fact that you are my mentor. You call me your friend and your colleague. I didn't want to interrupt you. Yes, you call me those things, but first and foremost, I am your mentee. Before I met you, I used to be a rebel. I never really was submissive to anyone, so to say. like I was in church, I'll be in church, but I never did. You know, but when I came here, and I remember that first time, it was like I was still my normal self. I have come with, I said, I plan to come, and I've come, and I'm here. You know, but I was still checking myself and resisting and feeling like I will not, I have not come this far all my life to give my freedom away to somebody. You know, I like what you do, and I've read about it, and I like everything, but I know I must stick. You understand? And I was sitting down. You know, you were here, and I was sitting down in front of you there, and I just broke down, and I was crying. I didn't know why. Right. You remember that? I was crying, and everybody was offering. And no, you were not saying anything that made me cry. You kept on doing what you were doing. You were writing an article. It was you. Before then, I was laughing. I was still laughing. Then the next thing, the tears were flowing, and I was trying to get what is the tear about? It had nothing to do with what you were saying, and it was like, you understand? I heard it very clearly. It was like, so I mean, I had judged from now everyone that God had presented to me was not good enough. I mean, they had their flaws.
It was not the answer.
It was not the answer. Yes, you understand.
Doesn't matter what fault they have, but if they had the answer, you recognize it.
Yes. So up till now, I had resisted. I would be under them and respect them physically, but deep down, I would not. Yeah. So, but here I was, and I was sitting in front, and the statement was like the Lord was asking me, and so He has presented me yet another. What is this one not good enough? I remember I told you now. So is this not good enough for you? It was and that's the first time. God had never condemned me, or no, let me not use word condemn. He had never even questioned my not submitting. You understand? Then, but it was as if all my lack of submission. Then He was now asking me that, am I saying this one is not good enough? And I wept and wept. And I decided, because later, how many days later, Pastor, you were looking at me and said, IRETI, what has changed?
Changing you.
What has changed? You're no longer the.
You are no longer the arguing and the fighting
and all that. You know, and all that. So, and since then, you know, so when I come, you know, apart from the fact that I relax, okay, I leave the sun and come and chill, you know, and you treat me very fine, you know, I'm served food and I'm treated so good. Apart from all that is the fact that I come to be with you. And then when I come to be with you, you know, even if it's
5 minutes,
10 minutes, you understand, and we talk, I know that no matter what, that's what I've invested into getting that 5 minutes, you know, it's been worth it, yes.
Please, I want you people to connect with IRETI. She's up and down from Akure,
yes.
From Akure, and both in Akure and in Abuja. So she's based like in Abuja and Akure. So she's between those two states and all over Nigeria. And then she could connect you with all their team members that they are working with, and she might be able to help you to resolve other issues in Nigeria. So, IRETI, it has been a nice conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We will see all of you in 15 minutes. Yeah, we are coming back live in the next 15 minutes. We just came back from church.
Yes, and yes, we just came back.
It's a long day.
You're rested, Pastor. It's you that I always wonder where you get your strength from. It's amazing, because now you were there, you were teaching, you spent hours, then you're through with this, and you get on the next one, and the phone calls will be going on and all, even after you finish teaching, and you'll be there. Pastor, more grace you.
So you are leaving to Africa tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Tomorrow morning, so you need to go and get your rest. You need to go and get some sleep.
Yes.
First thing early in the morning, she's jetting back to Nigeria. So thank you. It's been nice to have you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Peace.